What's up, Pack? That was my newest one for today. I try to do a new one every day. What's up, Pack? Another episode of the Ask the Pack Leader Show. We are here today. I don't know what episode number it is, but what episode number? We don't know.
37.
37. And we are here today with Lisa Porter and Juana. So I'm going to go to Lisa first, who is a colleague of mine. She's a dog trainer. I don't know if you consider yourself a dog trainer, but she works with dogs out in California. She works with me with Caesar at the Training Caesar's Way workshop. She's also part of the Positive Change program, which is teaching prisoners about dog psychology so they have a skill set for going out into the real world after that. So here we do. We have Lisa Porter of K9 Behavioral College. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Welcome, Lisa.
Hi, guys.
Why don't you give a little intro about yourself? I gave you a little one, obviously, but just for the people who don't know who you are, a little intro on who you are.
Yeah, so like Steve said, I work with that team out in California. I started working with Caesar and the whole crew like 2014. So I don't even know. That's been like almost 8 years now, a long time. So I help teach the fundamentals workshops. I also recently started working on the TV show that he has, Better Human, Better Dog, which has been amazing. And then about 6 years ago in 2016, myself, Leah Marquez, and Zach Scow started the Positive Change program. So been involved in that for 6 years now. And then, of course, I have my own business.
If that wasn't enough. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I also train, I do like intense, rehab mostly. So it's not like I'm doing low numbers, like maybe 2 or 3 dogs at a time. Working with dogs that have pretty serious issues too.
Awesome. And where can people find your ranch and your stuff?
I'm in Tehachapi, so like up in the mountains.
California, by the way,
California.
for people who don't know California, yes.
Yeah, right in the middle.
And what's the website we can go to find you?
K9behaviorcollege.com.
And what's the handles for Instagram and all that?
K9 Behavior College.
There you go. K and the letter K9, right? K and then the number 9. So K, the number 9, and then Behavior College. So you could find Lisa there.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today. I wanted to always, I had JoJo on last time. I was like, it was like such a last minute thing. And JoJo, I'm like, text JoJo. She's probably in the RV somewhere. She'll do it. And she jumped right on it. She's like, I'm good. Ready to go. JoJo. So she came on, but I wanted to bring on a bunch of the colleagues of mine with that did the workshop with Caesar and stuff, so people can see, get different perspectives, because people see my perspective, obviously, my followers and stuff, but I want them to see, like, from you and from everybody else, that it's going to be the same, to a degree, the same stuff, just delivered in different ways from different people. So I think it's a good way for people to see different perspectives on everything. So with that being said, why don't we go to our guest today, which is Juana, who has been a loyal follower of ours for a while. So thank you for that, Juana. So welcome to the Ask the Pack Leader Show. This is your first step right here.
Yes.
How do you feel right in this moment? How do you feel right now?
I am shaking of the excitement and the nerves.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of myself for doing this.
You're doing it, right? So now, and it's always like the fear leading up to it is the thinking, what's going to be, what's going to happen? I'm going to be on camera. People are going to look at me, because I can relate to it, because actually, why don't we get into it just so everybody understands? Like, Juana had messaged me, so I understand what she wanted to talk about. And so why don't you just explain what you wanted to talk about or what questions you have, and then we'll get into that part.
I want to talk about confidence, because just recently I started actually working on my dogs, and I realized I lack a lot of confidence, and my dogs show that. And I just thought, why not ask you, like, what can I do in order to build confidence and prove to my dogs that I am a confident person?
Well, look, I would say also that you said you lack confidence. All people lack confidence, right? And I would say that if we went to compare to most people, you had the courage to say, I'd like to come on the show and ask Steve a question. You know how many people have not asked that, who said, I would love to ask him a question, but didn't have the courage to. So to me, confidence comes from the forced repetitions of courage. So meaning you may not have the courage to do it, but if you force it, I'm going to have the courage, I'm going to make myself have the courage, and just not, because what prevents us is the thinking about it, the thinking, right? So if we just remove that thinking, say I'm just going to do, and then it starts to that's the courage of you accomplished. Because right now you're currently on camera and doing this thing, right? That was the big fear. That was the big fear that you were probably thinking about a lot before this, right?
Yeah.
And now that
it
we're
was.
actually in it, we're going through it. So we're just, and this is what we're doing with dogs too, is we're allowing them to go through it. Lisa can definitely chime in here at some point and explain how we allow dogs to go through the process and how many of us humans don't allow ourselves to go through the process. We beat ourselves up. And likely because we were taught to beat ourselves up by someone who beat us up verbally, physically, whatever it was in our past and things like that. So my point is just starting to look at this stuff and trying to understand, where does it come from? Where does this lack of confidence come from? Is it even a lack of confidence? I've just labeled it that I'm not confident. Because that can be also something too of just saying over and over, I'm not confident, I lack confidence. And then you create it in the real world because that's what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we have this like inner self-talk, which is, by the way, a lot of times which isn't, by the way, us. It's a result of others' ideas, the images of themselves, whatever it is that they told us what we were. Society told us who we were. And then we say, I guess that's who we were. So anyway, my point is that you are already proving it that you can do it. So you already know that you can because you did something that was like very uncomfortable for you to do. So it's look, at the basic level, doing things that bring you discomfort and moving towards those things as opposed to hiding from them and going towards comfort, which is usually the illusion of comfort.
Okay.
Lisa, do you want to chime in? I know this is the problem. Last time I like, so you guys can understand. I want to like say one thing here. I want to say one thing here because this is about behavior. So what happened on the last show and is happening again right now is conditioning. So for me, I do these video calls almost daily with my clients, right? So I'm sitting here talking to you and I'm like, oh, we're doing a video call. I'm like forgetting we're on camera. We're forgetting Elisa's here, like giving us her precious time. And you know what I mean? I'm like, but that's the behavior. So me actually seeing that happen right now and observing that is me actually starting to overcome and learn from that behavior. So with that.
Hey, so Lisa, are you down to talk about the confidence or the courage that you gained from filming? Because Lisa and I worked together in the past and, you know.
Oh, yeah. Adam knows.
Yeah.
I mean, I struggle with that in all areas. I came into, and even like just with being on the team with Steve and Heather and Todd and all these amazing trainers, I came in last. So, you know, that first workshop that I did, I was just afraid of everyone. It was so debilitating for me that I almost left like in the middle of it. So it took
and by the way, I'll tell you, Lisa, I would have had no clue of that.
Right. Yeah, you do have this layer of confidence that it's like your shield, your armor, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, when I met you and you were at the first one, I was like, oh, this girl's got her shit together. She's like fucking knows what, oh, she's good. And then meanwhile, that's actually going on inside.
Yes.
But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I've heard that I hide it well, but yeah, it took like doing those workshops several times and getting positive feedback and then just realizing that it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. Because honestly, what I've learned is that the more you avoid something, the worse it's going to get and the harder it's going to be to become confident in that area. Yep. You know, so for me, but I can't just rush into it. So I have to take it slow. And I found that it's easier for me to build confidence, like moving into those situations slowly, but you do have to do it. You do have to take that first step. And in so many areas, like Adam was saying, video, even just doing like this today, like I hate going on video, but it's just something, especially working on the TV show, like just got to do it.
Right.
You know, got to start feeling good about it.
That's a good
It's never really been an issue working with dogs, but it's always been an issue with me with people. Right. So I totally feel you. It's just something that the more you do it, the more you practice it. And just like Steve said, the more that you practice being brave, the more you're going to feel successful. And also having support of other people that can kind of give you confirmation and be, you know,
yep,
that support system for you is going to help so much.
I would also say too, like the fear thing about how to just accept, like people have fear. It's a thing. It's normal. It's not like a thing that you're the only one with fear, because it's a big illusion that people have all this confidence and they're. The reason I say this is I was the example of that. Old self Steve. The image, the look of me was like, wow, this guy's got all this confidence and he's all certain and he's an athlete and he's, you know, he's out and partying and dating women and all this shit, right? Like, wow, he's like got it all together, making money with his father's business, right? But what was happening internally, like what's happening to Lisa at the workshop, was actually what was happening, was the truth, the honesty. But we live this illusion to protect this vulnerability because the human world likely has wronged us somewhere. So we don't trust it. We don't trust it. So we're like, I'm going to protect this vulnerability with the idea that I'm going to now be safe and secure, but you're not, right? It's like the illusion of being safe and secure. Can you put her up, Juana?
Yeah.
So I can see her.
Juana,
yeah.
Can you just talk real quick? There she goes.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh.
Is it making sense what I'm saying so far?
Yeah, I do. I understand. It makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing is I fear I fear having conversation with people and I'm not sure where it stemmed from or why I have that fear, but it's gotten to the point where I can't function around people, and my dogs show me that they react more to people than they do with dogs. That's how like intense it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I am working on it. We've been since I'm at a gas station right now, we've been walking around people a lot, but I've noticed that it's people. They only react with me or around people, but I'm working on it.
And again, what is a dog telling us about ourselves, right? This is like we end up getting the dog we need eventually if we're willing to look at it. So I could have, for myself, I could have had Maddie back in the day. Lisa met Maddie. She knew Maddie. I could have just not looked at that and just said, like, there's something wrong with that dog, which is what most people do. Something wrong with the dog, and then just continued on in this disorder in my life. But then the dogs told me about that. So to me, they tell you, and then it's like, oh, what are they telling me? Let me start looking. So to me, you already see, and you're already on the attempt of becoming aware, which is to me a huge step. It's enormous. You're already on the journey. And the fact that you're on the journey of I want to become aware, and now I do have this awareness of I have some insecurity and some fear, and then you're taking action and coming on a fucking live show with me, who, you know what I mean, who can be a little bit, you know, is you have to give yourself credit and celebrate that a little bit. You know what I mean? And the reason I say a little bit is this is something me and Adam have talked about over the years about the celebration, not to go like, I'm the greatest. Oh my God, I went on the show. Because that's also not totally balanced either. You went so high with it that eventually you're going to have to come all the way down with that too. So I think what dogs are teaching us also to live right in the middle, be balanced, see things for what they are, you know, not get too crazy and just, you know, again, I think you have to just make sure that you're giving yourself enough credit for doing this part. Because I was talking, you know, I was just out in Queens today with one of my trainers, Dave, and we were talking, me and him, right, are talking about our growth has been not being so hard on ourselves was a big piece of our growth. And we're so good at beating ourselves up. Why? Because the public showed us how to beat ourselves up. Okay. Or even worse, family showed us how to beat ourselves up. You know what I mean? So that's what we learned. My point is just to see it for what it is. And in my opinion, actually, the actual act of looking, like you're looking like, where is this fear come from? Could it be? I'm going to see, maybe Steve has some things he could show me about it, or you know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. And I do that, and you can do that through your dog. What is the dog telling me about it? What are my friends telling me? So sometimes I'll do like with Cassie, and I do this, by the way, at the workshop sometimes. I'm like, am I being to the students? Because look, when I'm out here, Lisa will understand this more than ever. Like the students come from all over the world there. But when I'm doing training sessions here, I'm doing training sessions with New Jersey and New York people. Right? So they can handle the New Jersey 1,000 fast mile per hour guy, you know? If I'm like in that mode. Like when I'm in Queens and I'm talking to that girl today, I go, listen, this bullshit is that you need to da-da-da. She's like, yeah, I got you, you know? But then I go tell somebody from like Germany who comes over who's like, what are you saying to me? You know? Like, so it's really important to be able to see who the person is that I'm talking to, right? And understand where
that's actually a good question. Juana, where do you think you get some of that like fear or courage? Like, do you know where it comes from for you?
I really think it came from my family. Like them just not supporting me in anything that I do. Like they still don't support me till this day.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do think it was them. I grew up with a lot of negative self-talk. I had depression. I overcame that, and now I'm working on my anxiety, which is fear. But I really think it just came from my parents, and I just carried that on with me in the real world, and I just saw it getting worse and worse and worse, and I'm just to the point where I can't. Like, yeah, you can live with it and cope with it, but it isn't fun.
Right.
It isn't fun. I can't live my life how I want to live my life, and I'm just done with it.
Yeah, because you're not actually living if you're living in anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Living is actually living in the moment. That's what the dogs are teaching us, is actually live in the moment. So living with all that stuff and anxiety, all that, it's all comes from past.
Maybe we could ask Lisa the same question. Lisa,
what are you asking her?
Lisa, what do you think? Do you know where your stuff comes from? Of like, doubting yourself or like loss of courage, loss of confidence?
I mean, it just becomes a pattern. It starts when you're young, like you said. A lot of it can start when you're young, and who you were surrounded by and what their attitudes were and how they deal with things, and then that just becomes a pattern that you repeat over and over again. But the good thing is, like Steve was saying, once you become aware, then you can start to break that pattern, even if it's just little things, you know what I mean? And if it's people, like I was talking to someone and they were saying, this was years ago, but I was saying that I really get afraid of people. And give yourself permission to like not have to do so much, even if it's just going to like the park and sitting there for like 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
I like a distance.
Say hi to one person. Yeah. Break that pattern and give yourself permission to do it in baby steps, so you don't feel like it's all or nothing. Because that's where I was getting stuck, because I felt like I had to do all, and then I would just do nothing.
Yeah, it's also
true.
And it also comes from, again, not like we've been taught by society to look external about everything. So not knowing the self is what also brings on this level of insecurity, because we don't know. We don't know, like, is someone going to attack me? Is someone going to do this? And we don't know how we're going to respond, because we don't know ourselves enough. So that's what I'm saying. The fact that you're already now, like, you've had this realization. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
29. I'm going to be 30 in March.
Fucking young. So that's when so 29 was when I actually, like, a little bit, I was like 28, 29 was when I went through all my shit. So I was in the lowest point of my life at your age.
All right.
So you're already advanced. You're ahead of me, because you're starting to see this stuff and work on it prior to me even becoming aware of it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, okay.
30 was a rough year.
It's something I actually said this shit today in the session. I said it to Dave. I said, I got to do a better job of, like, I said, the problem is people see me, and this is just, again, from the feedback that I'm getting from people. They see me on the social media, the YouTube, on here or whatever, and they say, the guy seems pretty confident. He's got this. I'm like, yeah, but they didn't see the old self, the inside of me, what I was, and like how much I was struggling, and how much work I put into myself to even get to this point. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's just when you realize that it takes effort, and the effort will be rewarded, but with understanding and feeling, when feeling is understanding, that effort is going to be, you're going to be able to see. That's what it is. It takes the effort of the individual. So just, Lisa, I remember how much Caesar has been saying, like, over and over, I can guide you guys, but he's saying it to the student, they all have to earn it themselves. They have to earn trust, respect, and love for yourself. We can guide you. We can show you and I did a post just on this recently. Right? So I can show you these things. Hey, you got to look at this. Maybe look at where you came from. But if you're not like, okay, but I can't do it, then it's never going to happen. Right? So that's the action Lisa's talking about, is actually just I'm going to do it. Not like I'll try. I hope I will. Maybe. Like, we'll see. It's like, I'm going to do that. And then as best as you can, audit your thoughts that try to throw you, because that's your old self. The thoughts are coming from the old self of saying, no, don't. Like, for me, like the cold shower for me, like it's cold out today. You can really do a cold shower? Like, what's wrong with you? You got a session later. It would be much nicer to do a nice warm shower. Like, so I see all the bullshit of what happens with me, But then it's like, no, quiet, closed. You know, make it cold and just take it. Yeah. So that's the one of
But
just
also
being.
learning.
Yes.
Like learn to like be aware of what your thought processes are.
Correct.
Just in the day to day. Like where do your thoughts go in the moment? Like, are you having those repetitive thoughts over and over again, where it's like you're reliving those anxious moments that you had, and you're thinking about the scary things that are going to happen in the future, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus just being present. That's why meditation is so great. It's one of the things that Caesar, we do so much, because it really takes you out of that past and future, because that's where a lot of the anxiety and fear comes from. It's not happening right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And just think of like, and one tactic I can give you, Juana, is like in the moments where you start feel like you get into the thinking of the fear and all that, is to try to just pick something and observe it in that moment. Like stop, because then like I'm gonna look at this. So okay, it says the Maddie Ranch. Okay, we got an orange. I've never even knew that there was purple on the Dunkin' Donuts straw. You know, like that kind of thing of getting into it, because then you're actually looking at it in those moments. You can't be thinking about others, because if you're truly in that moment, you can't think about a past or future.
Okay.
You know, and then that's, at least I made a great point there of observing the thought pattern of how it goes. Because that's a whole thing that it's on its own. It's doing its own thing inside of you. And like if we just allow it to go, it starts building up momentum and steam more and more and more. But then when we actually go, I see you creating all this thing that someone else told you in my past to create. No, you know, and now I'm living it with my dogs and my family. And now I'm worried about people. That's where it comes from. Yeah. So it's amazing that you're on this point already. And just to be in, this is what the world that we got to create, is this community of like, where we can feel safe to say how we're feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're in this world now. It's like I mean, this cancel culture too, it's like taking it to a new level of like, even I think about it. I'm like, damn, like I'm trying to do so much good in the world, but I'm like, is there, I'm literally asking Adam, like, is there anything I shouldn't like talk about or say? Cause I don't want them to like, just take me out of it. Like, we got to be able to have these conversations and talk and like get somewhere. We can't just be like, you know what it is? Because so many people are just like going to tell Juana what she should do. This is what you should do. And that's it. I don't want to even hear what you have to say about it. And then like Juana's like, well, I think you should do this. And I'm like, and we just argue, and then nothing's learned, nothing's understood. I don't understand Juana. She doesn't understand me. We can't grow together, and we just continue on living our like adaptations to the traumas of our past. You know, it's like, well, why don't we actually look at this thing together and realize we're all connected? So why don't we help each other on this journey? We have to do it ourselves within, but Lisa can help me when Lisa. Let's just say like I'm there, like, oh, Steve's a high energy guy. And I'm like, really? What? So what high energy? Like I can ask questions and learn about myself through another person. And then I find people around me. That's what Caesar did. He found the people who he could trust, who would give him real feedback, who he could trust with his students and all that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm creating a community around me of people that I can trust. I know I can ask Lisa a question. She'll give me the real shit. I know I can ask Adam. He'll give me the real thing. My fiance, they're going to give me the thing. The people are going to bullshit and give me the fake. It seems nice in the moment, but I'm like, I don't want nice. I want the truth. I want honesty. Because to me, that's real love. For me to say, Juana, I think you could be doing better, or you're doing a really good job. I'm telling you that I think you're doing. That's honest. I'm being honest about it. I'm not doing it to make you just feel good. Because in reality, feeling good, comfortable in the short term is not so good for the long term.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Well, it's easier to not say hello to that person and say, hey, good morning to that. It's easier to not do it. I go, easier right now. But then later on, damn, I'm having this thing with people. I'm having this, you know what I mean? So being able to just say, you know what, I'll give you another one. The pain pleasure thing. So like go for a little bit of pain, because the pleasure that you're going to feel from it is going to be, it's the same coin. So I feel a little bit of pain of saying hello to that person, right? Person's walking by, good morning. You just say it to them. Oh, that didn't feel good. But then you did it and then you continued on and you're like, that actually did feel kind of good. I did it. I accomplished that. In the moment, it was challenging, but I did it. See it? And by the way, if you don't do it, don't beat yourself up. Learn from it.
Okay.
See it. Like, I didn't say hello to that person. What did I feel like? What did it happen to me? Did they say something? Did they do something? Just be there. Observe.
Something's going to change for you already, Juana, because you're going to watch this on YouTube and see yourself and be like, actually, that was really cool. And, you know, like this is a big one. This is a big.
How much fear are you feeling right now?
I feel a lot a lot better
Yeah.
right now. I'm still like my
Yeah,
hands are
the
a little-
leftovers. The leftovers. That's me. That's
Yeah.
me. That's
Yeah.
me. Just so you know, when I do the speech, when we do the speeches, that's me. Like after the speech, I'm still like feeling my hands and all that. But like people watch me, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't notice anything."
Yeah, you were
but
fine.
but I'm like, I'm dealing with my own shit with that thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the leftovers of my past. But I'm growing, so it's I know I'm okay with it. I'm going through it, just like we allow the dogs to go through it. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. I mean, so you're literally doing it right now.
Yeah.
Who's in the
Really
car
proud
with
of
you?
myself.
All
Well,
nosy.
Yeah, I just saw the arm come
So
in.
nosy.
What's up, man? Sorry, I can't even see. I can't even see. What's up? Who's in the back? Who are the dogs in the back?
that's Daddy and Belle.
Awesome. Wait, but haven't I
We
talked?
actually-
I've talked to her before.
Yeah. Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You thought it was her.
Yes, I remember. How are you? We got to get you on next time. Now you were hiding in the passenger seat there. I say or whatever. Yeah.
And when we had that video consultation, I was actually the one hiding.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
now,
amazing.
okay. So to give a little bit of
Yeah.
context into this, now I understand.
So
I get
good.
it.
Yeah.
I remember. Now I
Yeah.
remember you. I remember you guys. Yeah, I remember you guys. Okay. So and what's her name? I forgot her name.
That's Shanice.
Yes. So I talked to Shanice and she was telling me about the issues with the dogs and what was going on. And we worked on a bunch of stuff with that. And I actually said the same thing to her. I said, who's that back there? Who's behind the camera? Who's saying that
who's over
shit?
It's so nosy, dude. This guy is
That's
so
great.
nosy.
That's awesome. I see the X-Dog vest on the dogs back
Yeah,
there
that's
too.
cool.
Awesome vest. That's great. Thank you guys though for coming on. This has been great.
Definitely.
I really appreciate you coming on. And tell Shanice she's going to be on one of the next episodes. She's got to come on too.
I know. I'll tell her.
Yeah. Where are you guys located?
We're in Sacramento, California.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
yeah.
And you guys saw
yeah.
Tammy out there, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
We did.
At least I had recommended to see Tammy because she was out in like Sacramento. But are you near? How close are you to Sacramento, Lisa?
Oh, like 5 hours.
Oh yeah, too far.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah.
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 She's closer to that way, but not quite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa, are you down to, or is there anything you can share with us about your involvement in Caesar's show?
Yeah. It's been awesome. I really like it a lot. It's crazy because, you know, Steve, doing the fundamentals, like we don't get to see, a lot of it is us working with the students, and then we get like a tiny bit of watching Caesar work with dogs or work with students. It's a small part of it. And then, you know, I don't see him. So it's been amazing because all of a sudden now it's like daily, you know what I mean? I'm watching him work hands-on with these dogs that are crazy, like intense issues, you know what I mean? And getting to be helpful and like problem solve and all that stuff with him. So for me, it's been awesome because it's just a relationship with him that I have not had up until now. So I feel like I'm learning so much. It was a little scary because, as you know, I kind of tend to be very respectful with him.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, him and I have talked more in the last like 8 weeks than probably the last 6 years, but I am loving it. And Adam, you'll appreciate this. Like I'm finally just surrendered to like being on video and being on camera and just being okay with it.
Amazing.
Cause that's been a struggle. Adam and I have had several conversations where he's just trying to motivate me and like build me up. And I'm like, nope, can't do it.
Not yet at least.
So,
But you know, Lisa, you got through that time that we filmed together, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Like you did really well, and you know, you made it to the other side too.
And by the way, I had that shit big time too. I remember when we were in Puerto Rico with Caesar, right? It's me, Yoa, Art, Adam, Jairo, and Caesar. We're out there. It was after the hurricane came or whatever. And we were in some rescue or whatever. We come outside and Adam just goes like, boop, like right in my face with the camera. He's like, so what do you think about all this? And I'm like, it's good. You know, like I was like, it's a good trip and shit. You know, like, but it's like that thing of like, whoa, it's just something that we've never experienced. That's it. It's all it is. It's just something.
It's not just that, like that's a big part of it. Obviously, I just have not gotten used to seeing myself on video. But also too, it's just I get really stuck on like what content to put out there because I feel like the training community is so judged, and you know what I mean? Like I'm so cautious sometimes about what I'm going to put out there and like what I'm going to share about what I'm doing that I just don't do it at all.
I'll tell you that I've been doing that too. As of late, for me, it's been, I'm having like a little harder time doing these quick tips and like the basic stuff.
Yeah.
Because Adam would be like, yeah, we should do it on this. And I'm like, do they really want to see that shit? Seriously? They want to see me put a fucking dog on the ground? Just put it down. That's what they want to say, how to do that. And he's like, yeah, but people don't, you have to remember, dude, not everyone has been for 10 years watching Caesar and doing all this stuff every day. They don't know this stuff, you know? So that's like, for me, been my like discomfort too, of like, even that, like you can feel it's at the end of the day, it comes down to fear, right? It's the fear of being judged, a fear of being judged. So I've been doing more and more. I've been like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to post it. If people want to judge me and talk, because then I started thinking about it. If anyone's going to talk shit to me online and like take time out of their day, I'm going to take time, because by the way, I was this person back in the past. Let me take time out of my day to go on Lisa's page, who has the courage to put out her work, her content, what she's doing to help others. And I'm going to go talk shit to her, and I haven't even done it myself. I'm not doing anything for myself, to be honest. I'm just going to go try to bring others down. And I'm like, do I really care about that person's opinion? No. So why don't I just post? Anyone who's going to attack is not going to be in a better place than you. There's no way.
And I realized too, like people are going to come at you for the most random shit. You know what I mean? So like, why not just say what you want to say? Because they're going to attack. If they want to attack you, they're going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? They're going to find a reason to do it. So you might as well talk about what you want to talk about. That's right. And watching like the shit that you and Adam put out is it makes you want to do more, you know, and like put more stuff out there. Yeah,
you should, because you have such talent that I think people need to see it. So my recommendation would be to start doing it, and like, let the people talk shit. Who gives a fuck? Like, I went through that whole phase, honestly, of like, I went through really trying to debate with the hater people. I don't get that much. I think it's because, I don't know, maybe I just put up a wall because I just like say the shit and people are just like, I don't know, like I don't want to even get involved in confronting that guy or something. I don't know. But like, I really don't get that much. But when I do get it, like I tried like talking to them, and then then I just realized these people don't want it. They don't want to, there's no dialogue happening. It's just an attack. And I'm like, oh, so if it's just an attack, I'd rather just not join in this confrontation for no reason, you know? So I just go on in my way. It's funny, today I actually went on, I saw like a notification on my YouTube, and it said it was like something like, you're a charlatan, you're a what, I don't even know, all the bullshit and everything. And I like clicked on it, and I started clicking her, and her whole entire YouTube was commenting on my shit. It was like 40 comments, all negative comments about how terrible of a person I am.
Wow.
So, and I can tell you with full honesty that when I looked at it, my first thought was, damn, I feel for that girl. At this point in my life now. In the past, I'd be like, who is this bitch talking shit about me? I'm going to tell her what the deal is, and start a whole thing. But I said, wow, I can just see, like, imagine like someone, their whole YouTube, their whole life is just bashing me. That's what it is. It's like, imagine how much disorder that person has to really be in. But we don't even like think about that. We don't even look at that. Like, who is the person who goes on others and does it? Because then it's like, well, they're not, when I say the thing, no one who's doing better is going to. I'm talking about in nature world better. Not talking about just human world, because these billionaires, the fame people, they're going to go bash people they go after. They're money, power, fame people. Not all. Again, not all, but most. Not all. But they're going to go for that because they don't have the nature side, confident, love, joy side. So if you have that side, forget it. Like, I mean, I think that's, again, the your own growth in learning yourself and trusting yourself, respecting the self, loving the self, all that shit comes with like more and more not giving a shit about what other people care say. Because you know what I also thought about? What am I going to do? Not post this stuff that could be, think about how many people probably message you and comment in yours are like, wow, great tip, really valuable, da 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 da. But what do? We focus on like one person out of like the whole week who talks shit. That's focus too. But we're a fight flight animal. We're a survival species. So we're going to look for danger. That's why news sells 10 times more bad news than good news. 10 times. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. Wild. So this sells. This doesn't really sell. So again, why? Money, power, fame. So I'm saying when I'm saying who's doing better, I'm talking about nature world. How are they doing? Are they learning themselves? Are they practicing calmness? Are they practicing confidence? Are they practicing love? Are they practicing happiness? You know, are they doing that stuff? Are they looking within? Are they taking accountability? That's what I assess and evaluate, just like a dog. I realize all this shit. It's like, I don't know what it is about this human condition. There's so many things. It's like, God, like the dogs taught me that shit like years ago. And I'm just like realizing it now, you know? Let me ask you, if you go to Hershey and say, hey, Hershey, did you hear what this person on the internet said to you? They said they're making fun of you because you only have 3 legs, not 4. Oh, no. You know? He would go, I don't give a fuck, throw the ball or something. You know, right?
Yeah.
Think about that for real.
Yeah, I just...
Sonar, what's with your ears? Then people on the internet were saying shit about your ears, Sonar. You know, it's like... And by the way, I'm talking about Lisa's dogs. One of them was missing 1 leg. One of them had the ears cut when it was but they don't care.
Sorry, we cut you off there a little bit, Lisa.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, I was just thinking, like, I spend so... Like, that's one of the things, like, I'm so grateful for, like, teaching the fundamentals program and teaching the prison program is because it's made me so grateful for, like, what I have and what I get to do and the people that I have in my life, like the community of trainers and the fact that I get to work for Caesar and I get to be a part of all that. Like, a million people would want to be like where you and I are at, you know what I mean? So how can I get stuck on what some person somewhere sitting in the dark is thinking? You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm actually grateful for those people because they trigger things inside of me of my old self that are still left over. So if I know that, I look at that and I'm getting like, it's causing me to become fearful, or it's causing me to become angry, or causing me to become frustrated. I like look at that shit. Like, thank you for reminding me about that, because now I have more towards growth. And if life's about growth, I'm like, wow, I have more shit to grow. It was like a revelation I had today. I was like, when I brought up the cold showers to the client, and of course she's like, oh, what? Like, what is that? And I was like, God, I have so much fucking work to do. That was like the first thing. Like, there's so much work to like help the world, but I'm like, that's actually kind of awesome. Because now I have my whole life. I'm planning to do this my life, so I need a lot of shit to do for the rest of my life. Yeah. So if that's like more to do, great. I have more things to do and grow. And what you said was a huge one about gratitude. Things that are happening for you. When we actually look at the things in life that are happening for us, instead of like looking at it of like things happening to us, it's a big difference, you know? Or focus too. Where focus goes, energy flows. So if I'm focused on all the things that you have in your life, I don't have time to think about what I don't have. I want to focus on what I do have and all the things I have, because there's a lot of people don't have what we have.
I found that the more you do that, the more comes. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I can't. I don't know how many more good things could happen to me. You know, it's just the more I focus on that stuff, the more that stuff comes in.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, we all have a lot to be grateful for. But Lisa and I had a conversation while we were in LA that, she has so much good stuff going on. You know? It's awesome, and so do we out here. Yeah, you know, it's amazing.
Life is good, but even in the bad things in life, there is good still, because there's lessons to be learned in that shit.
Definitely.
So it's like, to me, I'm like, live life in a confident, love, joy. Like, we just live life in a good way, see it for what it is, observe, live in the moment, learn from our dogs, and then if some disorder happens or whatever, that's a piece of awareness. You know what I mean? Like almost like confusion. Confusion is like a good place to be in. It's like confusion means that you're about to let some shit go, and you're going to do something new. Some growth is about to happen. So in that confusion, just feel like, I feel weird and not so good, but I'm about to feel way better because I'm about to do something good, like move forward. I had that 2 days ago. I was in that confusion of like, should I do this? Should I do that? And then all of a sudden, like, I felt like not that good. The next day, I'm like, boom. I like knew what I needed to do, you know, and I just did it.
Yeah.
Really
it's funny because we say that about the dogs all the time. You know what I mean? Like, the confusion is good because it opens up a window of opportunity, right? For us to give them direction finally.
Yeah. They're going through something. They're going. For us. Yeah, it's the pattern has now changed. Something new is about to happen. A new energy, a new style of life, a new thing is about to happen that was different from the old self. Because the old self dog was reacting to that dog all day long. Every dog, react. And all of a sudden, we just did something to break that pattern. The dog's confused. What? I've never done. That's the thing about, and how many people give up in that moment of when the dog's confused. He looks different. I agree, because we're doing something different. We don't want him to. We want him doing something different than going after that dog over there.
Yeah.
You know? So that confusion is the moment where we can make that change. That's the real thing. And that's confusion in us. Of like when Juana was saying like I'm just trying to figure out like you're going through confusion. You're going to like I'm trying to understand. I'm confused. I'm not sure. But just know some good shit's about to happen because you're doing it. You're in the process of doing it. So just know that that's a normal part of the process. Like when the camera goes in our face in the beginning, that's confusion. That this is not what people looking, and then all the other layers to it. But the first is a holy shit fear because of the I've never experienced this. What do I do? Well, let me go through this. All right. Okay. So it's just a camera. What is that? Just a piece of glass and tech. Okay. And there's just people there, and I know people. All right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Going through the process. But how many people when the dog starts showing like a different behavior, they get insecure or whatever, and then they stop. They just stop it. And they almost steal the dog's growth because the human can't emotionally handle the dog looking confused.
Yep.
And those people, when I'm in a session with them, I'm like, that's why I rehabilitate dogs and you don't, because I'm not going to get emotional about that. I'm actually going to allow that to happen and let him grow, you know, and support him in the growth or support her in the growth. Yeah. That's what we're doing right here, by the way, with you, Juana. And we're doing it together. Me and Lisa are doing it right now with each other, with you, with this. We're all, this is a community. This is what we're doing. Adam's involved. We're all doing it. This is the pack working together. We're seeing it in action. Imagine we could create a world like this. This is the beginning, but we're starting.
Yep.
Lisa's you guys are in California. I'm out here in Jersey. Caesar's down in SoCal. We got Todd in LA. You know what I mean? Puerto Rico. We got people around. We're starting to move around. Now we're getting different countries involved and You know? Caesar's got the show out there now. We're doing more of this stuff. Lisa's doing positive shit. There's all these things happening. So it's awesome. This is what my dream was, to create this community, and we're going to keep this shit going and keep it going and going.
Lisa, do you have any questions for Steve?
Where did
I think...
I was going to say something funny. Like, go ahead.
Oh. No, I'm just... one of the struggles right now is finally having... we opened the facility this year, right? The daycare and boarding, which is so different than having my business that I run just with myself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So how do you, I was just curious just how you handle different things. I know you have the Maddie Ranch and all of that. How do you, when you do your daycare, are you doing small groups? How are you running that? Because I found that's the only way I feel it's positive for the dogs is to do small play groups. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. We do for the camp, we'll do basically each van is a group to a degree. So it's 20 dogs, 20 dog groups. And there'll only be about 20 of them in there. Sometimes I'll bring more in there if it's easy dogs and stuff, if I know them, or if I'm going to be there or multiple people and stuff. But yeah, smaller groups. And I explain to my training clients that the boarding and daycare thing is a little bit separate from the training. So meaning what I say that is the dog has to be to a certain state to join our boarding or daycare program, because that's more of the care option, right?
Yeah.
And I can't be bringing unstable dogs into that, because I have a lot of people who are in maintenance mode, you know what I mean? Where they have a good dog, they want just this dog maintained and feeling good and fulfilled, and we're helping them with that. And then bringing in this guy who wants to react to everybody or anxiety or whatever. So I make sure I work with them and try to get them to do that. But I also am very clear with them and let them know that just because we've done training or we did boarding training or whatever it is, doesn't mean that they're approved for boarding or camp.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's another thing. And then I give them this is what it is to get into it. And it's I want people to, because I want people to take accountability and actually put in the work and not just have us just do it, you know, oh, well, train them. Yeah. I'm that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I can't. So I'm just trying to prevent people from doing what they're gonna do, which is gonna prevent the actual goal of what they want to happen. So I'm you need this dog to be crate trained, good on leash, all the things, right? Comfortable around dogs, no issues with people, no, excitement controlled, anxiety controlled, all that kind of stuff. And they're but I don't know how to deal with this anxiety. Okay, let's do training. Doesn't mean he's going to get in, but we'll help you with that regardless, you know? But then I also do get people who say my whole goal is to get in. And I tell them from what I'm seeing, this is what it's going to take to get in. So I try to be transparent with them and tell them what it looks like, how much work's going to be involved, how much money, how much time, you know? So, but separate, I keep it pretty separate. The training visit, obviously the consultations that goes, the puppy enrichments, The puppy dogs that I have come stay, I do mix them with the camp dog because they're puppies. So I want them to have that experience with I call them like the high performance group. These are the dogs who are like good, like balanced, understand the deal, like very good dogs. And I like having the puppies go with them at times. So I'll put them in with certain ones and things like that. But for the most part, the boarding dogs, if the boarding dogs are also camp dogs and stuff, then they sometimes will pay for the daycare and all that. But yeah, for the most part, I keep the board and trains a little bit separate. I do mingle them in a little bit, like as time goes on. Like I have a dog who's bite history with dogs and all this, and we're like way later on, and he's really good now. And now I'm bringing him into the daycare. Like I'm on leash, but muzzled too. You know what I mean? I just bring him in. And I have the dogs that I know that I want there with my guys, you know? So I'll do it every once in a while, but for the most part, it's separate. Like training's over here and the care stuff is over here. Yeah, it's just because I think it has to be done that way.
Yeah. I think the thing I struggle with the most, honestly, and I've gotten so much better, but I just really, I struggle with like trust with the staff, you know, like that they can do it safely and they're, you know what I mean? Yes. I just don't want to be part of those horror stories of like what happens in these unstable daycares, and you know what I mean? That's
systems and protocols. And that's something where like it's never ending here of constantly doing it. Yeah. And that can be overwhelming. Like for me, making systems and protocols is like fucking like I want to be like, think of like entrepreneur things. Like how big can I make this? How many people, how many like, you know, like let's get like how much stuff can we do? Like the ideas I'll have forever, but then like, oh, let's like start organizing this. I'm like, you guys do that part, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the part but the system's but just what I realized to do is like, this error just happened. Let's just say like, someone dropped the leash or something, or, you know, they forgot to put the ID tag on, or the collar, or whatever happened. The gate was left open. Make a protocol for that. Make a system for that. So every time you go in a kennel, here's that. And there's the page of how to put a dog in the kennel. You know what I mean? This is how you intake a dog. And it's literally, you walk out to a T, out the front door to the car. If the people get out of the car, you stop, you let the dog, like, cause the dog and you know, how, like step by step. So then if they make the error, it's like, so what did you miss on the steps here?
Yeah.
And then you go over with them. So, hey, what happens if this happens? What would you do? That's again, it just takes work. I would just say it's the effort. I've tried to avoid it I tried to avoid as much as I could until I realized like, fuck, I got to actually do this, of show them exactly what I want it to be. I was like, yeah, they'll just figure it out. Cause I figured it out through Caesar and shit. So I'm like thinking they're just going to figure it out like I did, you know? But I don't want people just figuring it out. I want them doing it the way that I've already learned and like avoiding the errors that I made along the way.
That's the thing. I don't want them making the mistakes that I made.
Correct. Right. I know. This is like that's marks and you know, stitches and all this shit.
That's unnecessary.
Correct. Right. Correct. No, I think it's safety and safety stuff. Like I put the leash to a safety to the dog. I mean, where it's over the top for sure. Yeah. Like compared to what I used to do when I was walking the dogs back then, they were just starting. It's like, get these fucking dogs and we're going for a pack walk. You know what I mean? Like that was my level of like liability and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm like, everything is safety systems. It's run properly. There's no confusion, you know, like, because the errors are what's gonna like, you can move fast and like avoid some of this stuff, but then like the big error happens, you know, and then you're shot all the way back because a dog got out of the facility, or, you know, God forbid, whatever happens, you know, an employee made a big error.
I feel like I'm just over the top with the safety sometimes, but I would rather that than like the alternative, you know?
Yeah.
Look at that video I posted recently. It was like the big fight in a daycare. It was like 50 dogs in like a pen that was like tiny, you know? And they're like trying their best to do, I mean, they're just, that's money. That's dollar bills. Let's just get them in. Who cares? Figure out what happens. We'll figure it out. There's probably I mean, I don't know what the system protocols were there, but one person for 50 dogs, large dogs too. I'm like, what? Caesar wouldn't do that.
Yeah, like how does that work?
Yeah. So that's good. We'll talk more about that though, because that's a good one. I think this will bring a lot of value to people who own businesses too.
Yeah,
like dog businesses and shit, of like where the stuff is. We can go over more of that though, for sure.
For sure. Real quick, Juana, you're still there, right?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for Lisa?
Lisa? No, I don't.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because it is a lot of stuff that Steve does. It's a lot of the same stuff that Steve does, that she does as well. So she has a lot of the same knowledge.
So yeah,
what are the issues? Juana, what are the issues that you have with your dogs?
They're very reactive. They're reactive towards people and dogs. Belle, she is very excited, just very excited. And that was because when she was little, we socialized her in the dog park. Mm-hmm. And then Daddy, he is very, I want to say he's aggressive with dogs. He got into 2 dog fights before, and we haven't been able to. I've been walking them. It's been getting better, but I don't know how to directly work with those issues for them, especially since it's two different issues. But I think I have a harder time with Daddy.
Yeah. What do you think? Can you think of anything at your house that you could work on that might help them in that area? Like the excitement, like how excited is she in the house with all the things that you do, like with feeding and putting the leash on and, when you come home, all that stuff?
She's excited with everything.
Yeah.
But since I've started walking her, I walk them for about an hour to 2 hours a day. And the excitement has lowered a lot, like a lot, but she still gets excited. It's mainly with my parents. Yeah. I don't know how to approach that situation because I live with them right now. So
yeah,
I don't know how to approach that situation because my parents don't listen.
Well, start with easy stuff, right? So if she gets really excited when you put the leash on and it's just you, right? Does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Start with stuff like that where it's just you and the leash, right? And you can use whatever you want. You can use a bed, you can use a crate to help, her to settle. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes like 20, 30 minutes for them to completely calm down. And then you put the leash on. And then do it again and do it again and do it again until she starts to associate the leash going on with calmness, right? And then maybe you practice it when you feed her. So again, use whatever you need to help create calm. Maybe she has a leash on in that moment and you're having her stay in one place and you wait until she's completely calm before you give her the food. So not just sitting, not just looking at you, not just still in one spot, but actually calm, relax, laying down, chill. Then you give her the food, right? If you start practicing calmness in all these little areas throughout the day, that becomes her pattern. You know what I mean? And then it becomes so much easier for you to create that with her in moments where maybe the other person isn't listening or following direction, or there's another dog out that obviously you can't control, but you can always go back to that practice of calmness with her that you practice throughout the day, several times a day, until that becomes how she exists in the house. You know what I mean? Because the walk, like exercise is great, but exercise for the most part will drain the body, but it doesn't necessarily teach the mind how to be calm. It just helps us. Exercise in a tired body can help us create calmness, like with their mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Go
ahead. Sorry.
I have a question. So while you're waiting for them to calm down, like you said, 20, 30 minutes, what are you doing? What do you do as the trainer? What are you doing and what are you thinking? Because I think that's where I don't know what to do with myself while I'm waiting. Like I obviously I do get impatient, but I think it's because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm waiting.
I'll be honest with you, girl. I live my life. Like I will be watching Netflix or I will be on my phone playing Scrabble or you know what I mean? Like I'll tell you what I'm not doing is sitting there being like, what the hell? Like when are you going to chill out? Because you have to give yourself enough time that's not a concern. You have all the time in the world, but keep yourself busy. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if the dog has already learned to stay on the bed or stay in the crate with the door open while I'm waiting, I'm just washing dishes or making dinner. Like once you can create where they stay in one place and you're just waiting for them to chill out, you can do other stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be standing there watching this happen for 30 minutes. That's crazy. And it is good to it's definitely good to practice patience in those moments and be aware of am I even breathing right now while I'm watching this dog go through this? But
Lisa's got a call.
Yeah, I clicked it out.
Nice.
But for the most part, I'm just living my life. You know what I mean? I set that stuff up in a way that I can do what I need to do while I work with the dogs, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'm going to say 3 things.
He was thinking this whole time listening to you.
So the first thing is I'm giving myself credit.
Oh, there he goes. Let's go.
And how challenging that was for me to keep my damn mouth shut the entire time.
That was really good, to be honest. No, but Lisa, you're giving good info, obviously.
Because Lisa was giving, and Lisa's giving such good info that I want to what's the word I'm looking at? Piggyback, keep going with it, add more points on top of it. But I'm no, I let Lisa have her point. So that was my own growth I went through on that one. So now let's see if I can remember the other 2. So the other one was, okay. Well, yes. I'll go to this one first, which was, what do you do when the dog's there? I agree with Lisa. I'm doing I'm watching TV. I'm doing media. I'm doing whatever. I should say, the top priority is the dog, and then I'm doing other things there. So if the dog is doing something, all those stop, and then I go to the dog and deal with him or her, right? But yeah, I'm being calm, feeling good, feeling confident, feeling, happy. I feel in a good state while I'm doing this. Oh, you got off the bed for the 17th time? You're having a hard time with this. No problem. Let me put you back. Because my point is, during that, you're working on yourself also.
Yep.
You're both working on it. So how awesome is that by helping your dog learn impulse control, you're also working on your patience level. This is what I'm saying about this is what me and Lisa and Caesar, and we're all trying to show the world, is through a dog. Once you understand this dog psychology thing, the things you'll be doing with your dog are actually going to be tremendously helping you with yourself.
Yep.
Which in turn tremendously helps the whole, because we're all connected.
Yep.
Okay, what was the other one? Okay, and then the other one, this is why I love this shit, because this is why I know we're all connected and shit. Literally today, I'm on the way home, and I brought this thing up at the session. I said, Dave, write this down because I need to do a post on this, right? And it was about what Lisa was just talking about.
Nice.
Which is about, but I was describing it as the big fires versus all the little fires. So what happens is, Lisa, you'll appreciate this, I think. People call us, and they say, and we're the fire department, and the house is on fire, right? I need help, and we got to put this fire out. Got it. We get to the house, right? And what do they want the help with, of course, right away, is let's put out this big fire in the front of the house. And I'm like, I agree. We got to deal with that shit. We got to deal with that big fire so this dog doesn't kill another dog or bite somebody. But let's deal with that fire. But what we cannot forget about is all these other little fires that are happening in these other rooms, these small little embers and these little things that are all over the place that are eventually adding up to another big ass inferno that's about to start too. So my point is that all those little fires led to that big ass fire. So yes, we have to clean that fire out. But don't forget about all the little fires of when the dog comes over excited to you, wagging his tail, and then you pet it. You just created a little fire there, right? When you didn't wait long enough for the dog to be calm, you created a fire there. When you walked in the front door and he's all excited or she's all excited, you go, hi, girl. A little fire there, right? So all those little fires are happening around. And then people go, Steve, that seems like a lot of damn work. And I'm like, it's your life. What do you mean? It should be. That's what the whole thing is. That's what the effort should be put. All effort should be put into how can I understand the self and understand life? Because I want you to understand that you can help everybody else with life. But if you can't take care of home and fix home, how the hell can you help anybody else? It's impossible. We got to take care of our own shit and look at that stuff so we can help others. So anyway, that's what I was saying about the fire. So look at those. That's a big point. That's a really good one for the audience too, to pay attention to, is don't only look at the big fire. Don't only look at the big event. The dog reacts on leash. I know. He's also pushy in the house. He also is excited. He also claims the couch. There's a million other things here that we have to look at that's leading up to that big thing. So that's one where.
Yeah, that's all. like that relationship that you have and all the little things that you do throughout the day is going to dictate what the outcome is when there's a big situation like that.
Yeah.
And I think most people don't understand that. And that's what I try to tell everybody is that all these things that we're showing you to do with them, all these little lifestyle changes and all that work that you're doing to change your relationship, that's how you're going to help them through that big situation.
Yes.
You can't just be like, hey, trust me, respect me right now when you're in the most high panic excitement mode. No, that has to happen every day and all the little things that you do so that in that moment, that's your relationship. Yep, my human guides me through this. My human can be trusted and I can respect the structure and boundaries that are being given.
Right. We've practiced this before, you know?
Yep.
Most people are trying to practice in the performance.
Yeah.
So they're like, they're the Broadway performer and the audience is all there and the stage, they come on stage and all the lights go on and everyone's looking and they're like, how do I do this? I'm like, I don't know. Did you practice this play at all? And they're like, no. Oh, well, maybe we should have done that. You know, like, so that's the point is practice. That's what she's talking about is that's an event of it. All it is, if your dog's a little bit excited and you calm it down, you're practicing calming down an excited dog. You're doing it. Start at low levels and then build yourself up to higher levels. Shaping, if you want to get into all the words, the technical terms of dog trainers. Yeah.
Honestly, too, like you were talking about confidence a lot. Like trying to fix the big problem that your dog has, that's not good for your confidence because it's going to be hard and you're not going to be successful.
That's a good one.
If you can get success with the little things, that will start to build your confidence.
Yeah, build up some momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like you accomplished. Like when you accomplish, think about accomplishing all these little things. Like, wow, I accomplished all that. That's pretty good. You know, and then outside, I haven't accomplished the on here, but I'm learning. And you even said your dogs are. Just notice even what you're saying. My dogs have got a lot better. They've drastically improved. So you're growing. But what a lot of times happens is the human condition comes in. That's happening way, way more nowadays with tech and everything. It's not happening fast enough.
All right. Okay, I'm going to keep that in mind because I think maybe that's what's going on.
Yes.
We have improved so much.
So focus on that.
Right.
Focus on what you've accomplished and not what you have not. Because I could focus on the money I haven't made, the followers I haven't acquired, the people I haven't helped, the doggers I haven't helped, the shelters I haven't emptied yet, the ranches we haven't built. It could go on and on. Or I could focus on all the shit that I've done already and keep this going and keep going and see how far I can go with this damn thing. That's what I said. I did a post. I said, instead of seeing like trying to, I forget how exactly I said it, but it was something about like, instead of seeing like how quickly I can get this, see how far I can go.
Yeah.
Don't put a limit on it. Don't put a time in. Why do you have to get it done by next week? Says who? Said who? Like you're on your own journey. So accept that journey and enjoy your journey. That's yours. You know what I mean? And we're here to support you on that journey.
Yep.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to say one more. And this is why Caesar he called me after one of the podcasts. He said, "You're doing great." Because I believe it or not, I asked Caesar, and I know Lisa does too. What can I be doing better? What do you see? I ask him, what do you see? Anything? He goes, "You're doing great." I go, "How can I continue to change the world?" He goes, "You're doing it, right?" He goes, "You guys are doing it." So we're all doing it. He goes, "One thing I just want you to remind everybody is that they have to do it themselves. We can guide them." I said this already, but I'm going to say it one more time. We can guide you guys, the whole thing. But you have to be able to do it yourself so you can feel it, so then you can truly understand it.
And do the repetitions.
Yes, through repetition. So feeling is understanding, right? So we can give you some of the things, but now you go try it and you say, you know what, that didn't work for me, but this style of that worked for me. Or what's going to work for based on your, that's it. So that's it. Just say like, I got to do it. And that should be an empowering feeling or thought, not so much oh man, that's like, because you don't need anything else. You got yourself. And you got a dog who's going to be 100% honest with you right there, telling you how you're doing. Tangible piece of evidence right there to see how you're doing. That's it. I appreciate you, Juana. This has been great. It's been really good to see somebody like to see this process. I remember you saying how nervous you were to come on and all that. So I give you a lot of credit. It takes a lot of courage to do it, and you did it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
So take this and keep it moving forward.
And same thing for you too, Lisa. Doing the TV show is really good thing that you're doing there, and it's good confidence booster.
Big time. Thank you, Lisa, so much for coming on. Again, so Lisa is the letter K, 9 Behavior College. You can find her on Instagram. I'm sure everything, right? Lisa, Instagram, Facebook.
Everything.
All that stuff. Yep. K9behaviorcollege.com. She's also part of the Positive Change. That's PAW, P-A-W. Sativ's Change program. Is that, I don't know how you guys do it. Instead of positive, it's a paw. Okay. How about that? Positive Change program. That's the prison program. Amazing stuff. Lisa's doing great work out in California. So thank you again, Lisa, for taking the time to come on.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah,
Keep doing. I'm going to be looking forward to way more of your content that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. And fuck the haters. Who cares what they think? They're not. I shouldn't say fuck the haters. It's just see them for what they are. They're in a position in life right now that they're in trauma or just trying to adapt and cope with their traumas and their stuff, and they just are unaware right now. So it's fine. Let them kind of go through it. And when the time's ready, we're gonna be there. Even with all that shit they throw at us, we'll still be there. We're gonna set the example of still be there to help them when they're ready to start their journey of growth.
Yep. And you got our support.
Yeah, you got to support. You know that. She knows. She got the back.
I think it's good to do the reminder sometimes, you know?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And you got our support, Juana. And Shanice, you too, hiding in the passenger.
Over there in the cut, girl.
That's right. Thank you guys. I've been really appreciate it. The one there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good one. Thank you,
really,
guys.
really good. I really
Thank you,
enjoyed
girls,
that.
so much.
I could keep talking, but we got to, keep the audience in mind here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wrap it up.
All right. Thank you guys. Stay calm and confident, and we will see you on the next episode of the Ask the Pack Leader Show.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Take care. Love you guys.
Bye.